The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome to the Support Local Everything podcast, a podcast of the Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chamber President Jennifer Pauley, and it's been a few weeks since we've had an episode air, and that's because our office has had just a lot of things going on. We've been very busy, but the last time we were together, we were just before the Harvest and Hops Festival, and I have to tell you that that weekend was such a huge success. We increased our attendance from 2023 by almost 20%, which is an insane number. And our vendors had a great time. It was great weather. I can't believe we got through another Harvest and Hops Festival. It's been 40 years of a Harvest Festival in Lewiston, which is unbelievable. The next thing we have coming up is Small Business Day on November 30th. And then following that is the Lewiston Christmas Walk and Christmas Lights Parade. That's December 7th and 8th. So the holidays are coming up very quickly. And we're excited about, gearing up towards the end of the year. And speaking of the end of the year, this is the time of the year when you start thinking about health insurance options for your business. And, I kind of sprung this on Suzanne yesterday, but our guest today is our very own Suzanne Raby, our Director of Finance and Member Benefits. And I can't tell her to come on the show too quickly, too far in advance, because then she will get nervous and she'll overthink everything. So I told her yesterday.
No, she didn't tell me yesterday. She told me an hour ago.
No, it was yesterday. I sent you a text. I have the receipts. It was an hour ago that I reassured you that it would be fine, right? It's just a conversation, it's just okay, like we have in the office. And I prepped you this morning by coming down, and we had a good half-hour conversation.
We sure did, because we haven't talked to each other in over a week.
I know, we haven't. I was out of the office for a family emergency, and then Suzanne was as well, and then she had a vacation time last week, so this is like catch-up, I guess.
It is.
But speaking of office things, so one of the things that our office does, and our chamber is very unique for, is we have a licensed broker on staff, and that is Suzanne, and we are able to offer health insurance options for businesses. And there is no other chamber in Niagara County that does this. The other two chambers in Niagara County, they use a third-party system. If you call their office for health insurance, you're not going to speak to somebody directly. You're going to be moved over to another company that deals with it. And our office is unique because you call our office, we answer the phone, and you get Suzanne. Right? You get Suzanne. And Suzanne is the one who will talk you through all of the benefit options and what is best for your business or organization and all of the qualifications that have to get you to that point. So plans are not ready for 2025, but if somebody was interested, let's say we have a new member business that has 5 to 10 employees and they're looking to offer benefits, or maybe they were offering benefits before and they're shopping some options. What are some of the first things you can tell them that are needed in order to go through this process?
I think the first thing you have to do is talk to your employees. Find out what they need. Do they take a monthly maintenance drug? Do they have a spouse to cover, children to cover? How often do they go to the doctors? Is it just somebody young who needs a catastrophic plan, or somebody middle-aged, like maybe us, who needs a little bit better coverage? But find out what they need. I always tell them to have at least 2 different types of plans in place. Right now, the plans are similar to the Olympics: platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and according, depending on how much coverage they need, is what they would choose for their employees.
That's such a good advice to be able to, as the employer, you can't just say, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
You should find out what is needed from your employees and then make that decision. Mm-hmm. So that's like the first ultimate step, because if you choose one, I'll let you speak.
No,
in a
sorry.
moment.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking ahead.
I know you are.
Because you made me think ahead.
But if you choose one and it's not right for your employees, you're stuck with it, right?
Right. You're stuck with it for the year.
Yeah.
So at least have 2 in place. So you can offer a lower end, like a silver plan with a high deductible, or a platinum plan where they just have co-pays. Because as a small business, you're not required to contribute towards your employees' health insurance. So a lot of times it's up to the employee to pay for their coverage in full.
So how many employees do you need in order to go through this process?
You
with
have
us?
to have a business with at least one common law employee relationship, which means it cannot be the spouse it cannot be the sole owner of the company, or it cannot be the spouse of a company. And then that would entitle you to the group health insurance.
So what's the benefit of calling our chamber, besides speaking to Suzanne, besides getting through the gatekeeper of either Susie or myself, and getting to Suzanne, what's the benefit? I mean, I know what the benefit is just from having you, almost 30-year employee of the chamber. Lots of experience. You've been doing health insurance for a long time before you even needed to be licensed to do it.
Right.
So what's the benefit of calling our chamber to go through this process?
I think because you can you talk to a person. It's someone you know. Like, I grew up in the community. I know all of the members. I've been here for a few years.
Almost 3 decades.
Almost 3 decades. So I think having that one-on-one relationship with your businesses helps too. And then a lot of times the employers aren't comfortable talking to their employees. Like, it's HIPAA laws and so forth, and they're not comfortable talking to their employees directly, so then I can talk with them as well.
So when they call you and you walk them through this process, do they call you for issues that they have, let's say with their cards, or they have a question about their plan? How do you get to that solution? Do they go through you, or do they have to call?
It's easier. It's best to call me first to see because there are certain things I can contact the insurance company on your behalf, but due to the HIPAA laws, unless I have your verbal permission given to them, like if you come into my office, then I can help you with claims and so forth. But it's better to call me first, and then I can say I can take care of this quickly than you calling directly.
Mm-hmm. When plans come out, is that a crazy time in our office for you?
Yes.
I already know the answer to these questions, but I just wanted you to know so everybody knows when, the end of the year comes, it's a little bit of chaos in our office because we have some of our major events that happen. It is the time where you start getting out the plans and talking to, our current members about health insurance, and then you start to get everybody registered for the 2025. Right. So this, right now, from this point on to the end of the year is the crazy time for
November 1st, the small group market open enrollment begins. November 15th is when the individual market begins, which is a whole other beast. Mm-hmm. So it is crazy. So right now I'm learning all the plans because there are some changes next year, good changes. You will be helping me with my grid. I'll be working on that today.
We tag team going through all of the numbers and trying to make sure everything is accurate.
And then once we have the grid, and then we can release it to the members, and it's easier to have it in front of you first, and then I'll meet with you and them and go over the plans and stuff.
So tell us about that timeline again. November 1st is when, you start to get all of this information out to the members that currently have plans with us. And then tell us about November 15th. What is that with the individual?
That is where the individual market opens up. So if you are, and lots of times businesses are sole proprietors. They're not eligible for the group market. Therefore, they are eligible to enroll in the individual market. Anybody can enroll in the individual market. You can do it on your own. But I'm also brokered to assist you with enrollment, which is sometimes a lot easier. On top of the marketplace, the individual plans on through the New York State Marketplace, which I, kicking and screaming, got certified.
I know. Remember when we did that? I remember that day, and I was like, Suzanne, I think we need to get, you licensed and go through all these classes. And you're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I just have a feeling that we need to do this as a chamber because when I first started the chamber 15 years ago, you were just doing, Chambers did health insurance. Chambers
Yes.
operated on this, this plan where health insurance was administered. It was a huge revenue maker for Chambers.
Huge.
I mean, I'm talking like $50,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
It was a huge moneymaker. And then, things started to get regulated and you needed to be licensed and, under, have a what is it? The book of
business.
All these things
Yeah.
started happening. I was like, Suzanne, you need to do it. I'm not doing it because I don't know anything about this stuff, but you are going to. You have experience, and you were kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
But wow, like what a change for us.
What
if we didn't do that, we would have to send all of our members who need this to a third party.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't control the conversations. You can't help them. You can't provide that value. You just let somebody else do it. So that's where we're so fortunate to have you.
I remember when I was first hired, you just had to be a member of an association. You didn't have to have a business. You didn't have to be an employee. You just had to be a member, and then you were able to enroll in the group health insurance.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was I'm starting to show my age now. It was $30 for a single plan.
No way.
And $175 for a family plan. And that was like the copay plan where you didn't have deductibles and.
Wow.
And then they had a plan. It was the traditional plan, which it was more expensive. It was through Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and it was around $100 for a single and $300 for a family. But everything was covered in full. You never had a copay for anything, and now it's $600 versus $1,800
Which
for
is
a low
insane.
end with a deductible.
That's
It's
not
changed so
that
much.
long ago, though.
No,
it really isn't, because I remember just starting off and looking at plans with you, when just to get to know what we were doing with the chamber, and that's insane. How
much it's changed.
It has changed. But thankfully, we have you to talk, our businesses through it. And I see it firsthand. The businesses will call or they'll come in. They feel very comfortable with Suzanne. They'll set up an appointment. She'll meet with them, go through, talk them through it, pretty much holding their hand to get them
Filling out their forms.
Yes, you do everything for them. It is such a great resource that we have in the office with Suzanne. She knows all of her stuff. She takes the webinars. She takes the continuing education classes. She does everything to stay on top of it, and it's really impressive. So thank you.
You're welcome.
See, this wasn't going to be
Wasn't so
so
bad.
hard, right?
No.
Now, some of the aspects of health insurance we don't take care of, and that's where we have a member that fills in some of the questions that people have with Medicare. So tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Oh, Silver Solutions.
Yes.
Medicare has been a struggle for me for so many years. It's a different licensing, different everything.
Different tests to
Whole
take,
different beast,
different
different
classes.
tests. It's limited. You only can fail the test 3 times, and then you have to redo everything. I failed it twice by like 2 points.
It's okay, though.
So it's a struggle. And then, so right now, when you age out of the plan at 65, I can't help you anymore because I'm not certified. So in the past, I had a rep at each insurance company and could say, you have to call this person, where now we have a member who will help with everything from Social Security, at getting you enrolled in Medicare, everything.
Yeah, Silver Care Solutions, we had them on the show earlier this year. They are phenomenal. They've worked with a ton of our members already, including Susie, our employees. So they are a resource, and it's just a different aspect of health insurance, of health care, that just shows you how encompassing, staying on top of all of these plans and all on top of all the regulations. It's just,
And they change so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Suzanne's always on a webinar for
All the
something
time.
or another, and then she'll always call me downstairs we say plan her team, but it's going over all of the just the levels of health of what's available, the percentages, the dollar amount per month, the copays, all of this information, and I see how intricate it is. Thankfully, I'm on a need-to-know basis.
And I don't need to know. That's what
I
you
say.
said. That's why I had to go get licensed.
Yes, that's my line. I'm on a need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know this. So, Suzanne, it's all you. So, when we get these plans in to get them out to the members, what's the first step that we do? You usually contact...
I usually call them.
Yep.
And then I will mail them. Hard mail, email and hard mail, because sometimes they can't print them off, the packets of all the plans. This is what you have right now, this is what it's changing to, here's the other options, and then go from there.
And if a business currently has a health insurance plan through another company, another business, this right now would be the time
to change.
For them to change.
Correct.
And to contact you and find out what the benefits are of coming to the chamber. I would tell you that the number one benefit is Suzanne. She will hold your hand the whole way. But this would be the time to explore all of those options, because there are deadlines. When do you need things in place in order for everything to be ready for 2025?
Everything needs to be in place by December 15th of 2025.
2024.
2024. I like to have everything done by December 1st because it gives you time to get the last minute stragglers and changes in, because there's different guidelines every year, they change.
Right. And paperwork. There's paperwork that has to be, and I know I've seen Suzanne, she's got this calendar on her desk with
old school
calendar, 15th circled really big, because there's, the deadlines, you can't do anything after the deadline.
No.
If you need to get insurance in for 2025, that is the hard date. It's not.
And it's not just open enrollment for us. It's all over
everybody.
The county. So you like to have your card in your hand on the first day of your coverage period. And to get it, make sure you get it in time, so then you have your cards.
Yeah.
Although I can access your ID numbers and stuff, it's nice. People want that
they
card
want their
in
card.
hand,
When they're going to the doctor's office, they want that information. And that is the great part, is Suzanne can access. If you're our client, you're part of Insurance Through the Chamber, she can go in and access that information when needed, when you call to get it. So make that appointment with Suzanne, call her up, get in her schedule. I see her Google Calendar.
I know. So. I finally downloaded it to my phone this week. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Where have you been with that?
I know.
I
like
forever.
my spiral binder.
Yeah, she's got a nice big calendar on the desk, and that's where all of her things are written in red pen. We've been on a Google Calendar for a long time now, and I think you're just getting the hang of it. But it's okay. There's plenty of opportunity to meet, and I have seen Suzanne meet. Sometimes during the day is not a great option for businesses. So she is available certain evenings to make those conversations happen. And we're just so grateful for all of the knowledge that you've had in health insurance. I just can't, say enough good things about Suzanne with health insurance, because not every chamber has this type of benefit. There is a handful even in Erie County that have this. We work with the Amherst Chamber of Commerce, and they are partners with us in the health insurance field. Before we did this, we had to look through different options to see what would be the best way for us to have Suzanne offer health insurance through this. So
we tried to use the third party.
We did.
And it didn't, our members weren't receptive of it.
Yeah, because they weren't speaking to somebody at the chamber. They were speaking to somebody they had no relationship with. Most of the time, that person was not even located in our county.
Right.
Or even Western New York, for that matter, with the other third-party business we had worked with a while ago. So great, it's a great thing that our chamber offers. And 30 years of Suzanne at the office with health insurance.
Well, we also had a milestone last week at the chamber.
15 years.
15 years. Let me tell you, 15 years ago, Jennifer walks into my office with her mink coat on.
No, it was a leather coat.
It was mink.
No, it
was. I think
like
it had
squirrel. I think
it was something.
Fur. I don't know.
No, it was leather. It was like a leather mink something.
It was leather coat, and it had a little bit of fur at the top where the collar is.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's
Their
real
Devil
fur.
Wears Prada
just so you know. I got it at the consignment store. There used to be a consignment store at the Opera House, 15 years ago. $40. I bought that jacket because Suzanne will never let me wear it, live it down. I would wear it this week, except it's like 70 degrees this week. But okay, go on. Tell the rest of the story.
So she comes in, has no files. We're trying to figure out.
Yes. I sit at my desk, second floor of the office, all by myself. Nobody else is up there. It's just me. Everybody else works downstairs, and they tell me my office is upstairs with 2 other empty rooms up there. I'm like, okay, they put me up here.
What's this?
I turn on the computer. I'm like, Suzanne, where's the files? She's like, I don't know, on your computer. I'm like, there's nothing on this computer.
Back then, we didn't work out of a shared drive, so we had old files, manila envelopes, and there was no idea.
Nothing was on my computer. No. Nothing. And then when I go through the paper files, it was pretty much empty. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then, about 6 months after you started, we had a transition in our president, and was it that?
No, I think it was a year.
Was it a year?
Was it a year? It was a little less than a year.
And I remember the board were thinking about putting you in the position as president, and Marty came to my office.
My husband.
He said, she's probably going to ask for your support. And I was like, oh, absolutely. She needs to be the president. He goes, now, Suzanne, are you ready for this? Are you sure you want Jennifer to be the president? Are you sure?
I know you regret it now.
Yes. Boy, we've been through a lot these 15 years.
Oh my gosh. Can you remember? I mean, we just came off of the Harvest and Hops Festival, and Suzanne and I worked that the whole 2 days, 5 a.m, Saturday morning, and we finished about 7. This year we finished about 7:30 because we had some straggler vendors on the street a little longer than normal. But do you remember when, we used to not close the street and would have to have vendors setting up that Friday night beforehand.
They'd put their tents up.
Deal with all of that. And we've been through festivals that have been 99 degrees outside with candles melting and vendors having heat stroke, to wind and rain and sleet, a little bit of everything. But this past Harvest and Hops Festival was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun. The weather was great.
Yeah, it was great. And the vendors, we had a packed house with vendors. The music was great. And it was actually, that festival is probably our easiest festival to run. We can do that with our eyes shut.
And I'm so excited for this year because we made it through every festival and did not fight once.
We didn't.
We made it through.
I know.
You didn't yell at me once.
No, you didn't yell at me once.
I remember at the end of Jazz. And I was like, can I say it now?
Yeah.
We made it through.
Usually there's one big blowout.
One big.
Because, when we work together all week long. And then when we have these major festivals and major events, it's a lot of extra time out of our lives. So it's a lot of early mornings, working all day through the late evening. And we have other family things going on or other things in our personal life that, that have to be put on hold when we do these events. So tensions are usually high, but Suzanne and I have run these things, just pretty much we know how each other works with it. So sleep. We haven't had a blowout.
No, we haven't.
There's been some good blowouts, though.
We've had some good ones. Every 2 or 3 months, Jennifer has to sit me down in the teacher's office and Suzanne,
we can't do that.
We can't do that. You can't say that.
But the funny thing about our time together with working through all of this is we'll have the blowout, but then we'll go and sit at the bar and after we're all done and have a glass of wine. Be like, okay, all right, what's next? So fun. See, and this was going to be a good conversation, just talking a little bit about health insurance and turned into the longevity of our employees. 30 years at the Chamber for Suzanne. She'll be celebrating that in December. She has done a little bit of everything from bookkeeping to health insurance to, helping grab new members. And I will have to say, before the 15 years, you really didn't have to do much at events and blenders, right?
No, we did not. No, actually, not until you came.
I know.
And then it was, Suzanne, you're getting up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm like, Suzanne, I don't care that you've never worked this event before.
Like,
you're working it now.
And you're staying till the end. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah, I need you there. You're my employee. So it's been a great, great festival season for us. We're rounding out the end of the year with Small Business Day coming up November 30th, and then the Christmas walk, and then Suzanne works overtime until getting everything in by December 15th for all the new plans for 2025, and then we start
Planning
next
for next year.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that we're already towards the end of this year.
I think there's only like 8 Fridays till Christmas or something.
Oh my gosh.
Pat Proctor.
Yeah, you got to call him to
Posted it.
give you the Oh,
Yeah.
did he?
He posted something.
Yes,
Couldn't
Pat-
believe how.
Pat used to help us bring Santa Claus in,
Yeah.
and he would always give us the reminder of how close Christmas season is. So, coming up around the corner. Well, see, this wasn't so bad. Thank
No.
you, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
I can't tell Suzanne to come on the
No.
show more than 2 days ahead of time because then she freaks out. But you can see how great she is and how knowledgeable she is about the health insurance process. And I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to talk about it because it's one area of the chamber that it's not exciting because health.
Right.
Why is health insurance exciting?
Right.
Whenever you send me this stuff, I'm like, oh God, I got to read through
Gotta
this.
read.
But it's necessary benefit for some businesses to give to their employees. So we're happy to be able to offer that service, and so happy that Suzanne is that key to our success. All right, Suzanne, thanks
All
for
right,
joining me
yay.
this morning. And thanks for tuning in on our Support Local Everything podcast. We did have a few weeks off, but now we're back at it, and hope you join us again next week. And as always, share this podcast with your friends, with your family, with your business, with your organizations, anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate your support. See you next week.